Welcome back to our channel, Soap fans. Today is a beautiful day to dive into the most explosive drama Los Angeles has ever seen. Grab your coffee and brace yourselves, because the fallout from these upcoming twists will change everything. The glint of plastic in the wastebasket catches Daphne Rose Walton's eye. She reaches down into the shadows of the Forrester Creations CEO office. Her breath hitches violently in her throat. Two bold, unmistakable pink lines. The universal symbol of life. A positive pregnancy test sitting right there in the trash can. For Daphne, this is not just a piece of discarded plastic. It is a divine, impossible intervention. Diagnosed with early menopause, her dreams of carrying a child were violently ripped away, leaving her shattered and hopeless. But now, staring at those two pink lines, a miraculous, overwhelming euphoria washes over her. She has defied the medical odds. She is going to be a mother. The tears stream down her face as she clutches the test to her chest, her heart hammering a frantic rhythm of pure, unadulterated joy. She sprints through the executive corridors, desperate to find her husband, Carter Walton, to deliver the greatest news of their entire lives. Carter is standing near the drafting tables, lost in his own suffocating guilt, when Daphne collides with him, sobbing with absolute happiness. She thrusts the plastic stick into his trembling hands. She cries out that they are having a baby, that their prayers have been answered. But Carter does not smile. The blood violently drains from his face, leaving him pale, cold, and entirely paralyzed. The world around him grinds to a sickening, apocalyptic halt. His heart stops in his chest. His lungs seize, because Carter Walton knows the devastating, catastrophic truth. That is not Daphne's pregnancy test. That test belongs to Steffy Forrester Finnegan. The memories of their explosive, drunken hookup in that exact CEO office come rushing back with lethal, undeniable force. Steffy must have taken the test in a moment of sheer panic, seen the positive result, and thrown it away in a desperate attempt to bury the evidence. And now, Carter's fragile wife is holding the proof of his ultimate betrayal, convinced it is her own personal miracle. The walls are rapidly closing in on Carter, trapping him in a suffocating, inescapable nightmare. If he opens his mouth and tells Daphne the truth, he will obliterate his marriage in a matter of seconds. But the collateral damage will not stop there. The truth will instantly detonate Steffy's marriage to John Finn Finnegan, destroying a family and plunging Forrester Creations into a catastrophic, very public scandal. Carter is backed into a lethal corner with the clock ticking down to zero. He has to make a split-second, irreversible choice. Does he confess and burn his entire world to the ground? Or does he smile, hug his wife, and let her live a cruel, twisted lie about a baby that will never, ever exist? The cowardice and the panic win. Carter pulls Daphne into his arms, burying his face in her shoulder as his eyes widen with sheer, unadulterated terror. He chooses the lie, sealing his fate in a tomb of deception. But the nightmare is only just beginning for the Forrester COO. Daphne's enthusiasm is a runaway train that cannot be stopped. She wants to celebrate immediately. She wants to call the doctor right this second to schedule an ultrasound. She wants to frame the test. She wants to shout the news from the rooftops of Los Angeles. Carter is sweating bullets, his mind racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour. He has to get that plastic stick away from her. He has to destroy the evidence before anyone else sees it, before Finn walks into the building. If Finn catches wind of a positive pregnancy test originating from that specific office, the devoted doctor will start asking questions. And Finn's medical expertise will easily unravel the impossible timeline of Daphne's sudden conception. Carter desperately tries to coax the test out of Daphne's hands, suggesting they keep it a secret just between them for now. But her overwhelming joy makes her utterly unpredictable. The ticking time bomb is armed, and Carter is running out of time to defuse it. While Carter drowns in a claustrophobic labyrinth of his own lies, a completely different kind of hostile takeover is unfolding behind the towering glass walls of Spencer Publications. Melissa Dillon is no longer playing the role of the innocent, lovesick assistant. She has rapidly evolved into a ruthless, calculating corporate predator. With Bill Spencer blindly endorsing her presence, thrilled that she is keeping his son well far away from Elektra and the Forrester family, Dillon has been handed the keys to the kingdom. She is using her newfound proximity to the Spencer inner circle to slither through the executive suites, bypassing security protocols with terrifying ease. She isn't looking for romance. She is looking for routing numbers, offshore accounts, and highly classified financial portfolios. Dillon is orchestrating a masterclass in corporate espionage right under Bill's arrogant, unsuspecting nose, and nobody sees the blade coming. Dillon is not working alone in the shadows. Every encrypted file, every financial blueprint, and every sensitive document she unearths is being secretly transmitted straight to her shadowy cousin, Remy Price. Together, they are building a massive war chest, preparing to siphon the Spencer fortune and secure their own twisted legacy. Dillon's greed knows absolutely no bounds. She sits in the glow of the Spencer computer screens, downloading gigabytes of sensitive data, her eyes gleaming with predatory ambition. She is systematically dismantling the Spencer empire from the inside out, using Will's blind, desperate affection as her ultimate, impenetrable shield. She plays the devoted girlfriend by day and the architect of the Spencer family's financial ruin by night, laughing at how incredibly easy it is to manipulate the billionaire dynasty. But Katie Logan Spencer is nobody's fool. Her maternal instincts and razor-sharp business acumen have been screaming red alert since the moment Dillon set foot in Will's life. Katie refuses to trust Dillon's sudden, convenient pivot from Forrester employee to Spencer confidant. Launching her own aggressive, covert investigation, Katie audits the internal security logs. She tracks the data breaches. She follows the digital breadcrumbs right back to Dillon's IP address. The horrifying truth hits Katie like a speeding freight train. Her son is not just sleeping with a manipulative opportunist. He is sleeping with a corporate spy who is actively plotting to rob their family blind. Katie has the undeniable proof in her hands, and she is ready to go to war to protect her son and her legacy. Katie wastes no time. She storms into the beach house, her eyes blazing with protective, maternal fury. She slams the printed security logs and data transfer records onto the table right in front of Will. She pleads with her son to wake up, to look at the undeniable evidence staring him right in the face. She exposes Dillon's relentless research into the Spencer fortune, laying out the exact timeline of the stolen documents. But Will is completely blinded by his toxic obsession. The Spencer pride and his lingering heartbreak over Elektra have turned him into a defensive, volatile mess. Instead of looking at the facts, Will turns his rage on his own mother. He violently rejects the evidence, accusing Katie of being a paranoid, controlling meddler who will do anything to sabotage his happiness and control his life. Will's explosive denial is a catastrophic mistake. He refuses to believe that the woman warming his bed is a venomous snake preparing to strike. He screams at Katie to get out of his house, choosing his toxic romance over his mother's desperate warnings. But Dillon, lurking in the shadows of the hallway, hears every single word of the confrontation. She realizes instantly that Katie is a lethal threat who could blow her entire operation sky high. Dillon knows she has to act fast, and she has to act ruthlessly. She cannot just discredit Katie. She has to completely destroy the bond between mother and son. As soon as Will storms out of the house to clear his head, Dillon formulates a split-second, diabolical plan to frame Katie for the ultimate betrayal. The moment the door clicks shut, Dillon transforms the beach house into a staged crime scene. She systematically trashes the living room, hurling vases against the wall and overturning heavy furniture. But she doesn't stop at property damage. Dillon takes a jagged piece of broken glass and intentionally scratches her own arms, drawing real blood to sell the vicious lie. She rips the collar of her blouse, tears streaming down her face as she forces herself to hyperventilate. To seal the trap, she uses a sophisticated spoofing app to send a series of unhinged, threatening text messages to her own phone, making it appear as though they were sent directly from Katie's personal number. Dylan sits amidst the shattered glass, clutching her bleeding arms, playing the ultimate victim as she waits for her prey to return. When Will finally walks back through the front door, the scene before him makes his blood run cold. He finds Dylan sobbing hysterically on the floor, surrounded by destruction, her arms covered in fresh, bleeding scratches. Dylan launches into an Oscar-worthy performance of sheer terror. She chokes on her tears, claiming that Katie came back in a violent rage. She tells Will that his mother physically attacked her, threatened to destroy her life, and vowed to drive her out of Los Angeles by any means necessary. She shoves her phone into Will's hands, showing him the spoofed, venomous text messages. Will's shock instantly morphs into a volcanic, uncontrollable fury. The Spencer temper detonates with catastrophic force. He doesn't look for logic. He only sees the woman he claims to love bleeding on the floor because of his mother. Blinded by rage and masterclass manipulation, Will marches straight into Logan Designs like a one-man wrecking ball. He unleashes a public, humiliating, and devastating verbal assault on Katie in front of her entire staff. He accuses his mother of being a violent, unhinged monster who attacked an innocent woman. Katie is left utterly paralyzed, her heart shattering into a million pieces as she tries to defend herself against the insane, fabricated allegations. But Will refuses to listen to a single word. He looks his mother dead in the eye and delivers the final, lethal blow. He disowns her. He screams that Katie is dead to him, effectively severing their relationship forever. The mother-son bond is violently, irreversibly destroyed, leaving Katie drowning in a sea of heartbreak and utter confusion. Back at the beach house, Dylan watches the fallout with a triumphant, venomous smirk. Her plan worked flawlessly. She has successfully isolated Will from the only person who could see through her disguise. Will is now completely cut off from his protective mother, rendering him entirely dependent on Dylan's toxic affection. The Spencer heir has been reduced to a mindless puppet, dancing perfectly on Dylan's strings. With Will fiercely guarding her and Bill blindly supporting her, Dylan has unrestricted access to the Spencer empire. The hostile takeover is no longer just a threat. It is an active, unstoppable reality. Dylan and Remy are poised to drain the Spencer family dry, and Will is handing them the keys with a smile on his face. The stakes across Los Angeles have reached a terrifying, apocalyptic fever pitch. In the executive suites of Forrester Creations, Carter is living on borrowed time. Every second that Daphne spends celebrating her phantom pregnancy is a second closer to the truth exploding. Steffi's suffocating guilt is a loaded gun, and Finn's blind devotion is the trigger. If Finn discovers that positive test, his medical expertise will instantly unravel the timeline, exposing Steffi and Carter's lethal betrayal. Carter is trapped in a pressure cooker of his own making, forced to smile through the most agonizing lie of his life, while the real mother of his child spirals into a nervous breakdown right down the hall. The detonation is not a matter of if, but when. Meanwhile, the Spencer legacy is crumbling from the inside out. Bill's arrogance and Will's blinding obsession have left the gates wide open for Dylan's ruthless pillaging. The financial documents are flowing to Remy. The war chest is filling up, and Katie is left screaming into the void, completely powerless to stop the impending ruin of her family. Two massive, cataclysmic secrets are armed and ticking down to zero. A fake pregnancy covering up an explosive office affair, and a staged assault covering up a multi-million-dollar corporate heist. The fallout from these lies will leave no survivors. Marriages will be incinerated, empires will fall, and the collateral damage will stain the streets of Los Angeles forever. Will Carter destroy the test before Finn sees it? Can Katie save Will before Dylan drains the Spencer fortune? Drop your theories below and subscribe for the next explosive update.